All right, so this is going to be a quick video on setting trend lines or creating trend lines and doing it the right way, and how to use trend lines to make money, and also how trend lines can fail at times. So let's get right into it, guys. We are waiting for this candle close. It's 9:40. We wait for the 9:45, and then we begin our trade. But what we see here is potentially a trend line. So what do? We go ahead, take a trend line tool, and we want at least three candle touches. Now, this sequence of candles trending up, the sequence of candles all touch. Now, I prefer trend lines through candle bodies, no wicks, right? When in doubt, maybe do both, but institutions usually use wicks. Now, the wicks basically show the extreme of prices. And guys, let's be honest here. Um, candles are a horrible way of illustrating price because it's basically a range in time. It's a picture in time, right? So the 5 minute emphasis on time. When you want to know the trend of price, right, we need a different type of I guess illustration of price. So one thing that you guys can do is use a Renko. Now, Renko, instead of using time, it uses price, right? So when there is a change in price based on however big my Renko is, a narrow bar is printed. Okay, so not based on time. And this is probably an easier way to identify trends when it's purely based on price, right? You see here, let's zoom out. We could see here trend, right? Now, we're not going to go ahead and use Renko exclusively or even at all, rather. I just want you to be able to see that, like, when we go to the 5 minute and we're using candles, we're using time. We're not using price. Okay. So that is why we prefer a candle close, because on a candle close, we know the exact price on that time, right? So basically, when you draw your trend lines, use close, not wicks, because close is more related to the price. Okay. So going back to the candles here, um, really nothing for me to do. Now, what I'm going to do is go into my trade design system here, and I'm going to show smart trade designs. I'm going to click OK, and this should expand itself. There we go. Now, from this point of entry, this is how powerful our system is. From this point of entry, we tap it at 4:15. Many of you were sleeping. I know I was sleeping. Uh, we followed what we call the GT line all the way down to a pretty solid return. This is a 7-to-1. Okay, now let's talk about this, because I am trading futures, and people who trade options, are intimidated by the word futures. And what I find is that futures easier to trade than options, and the rate of return is far more consistent, and I guess more of a one-to-one. What I mean by that is, you know, an options trader is trying to maximize their options contract, 20, 30, 40%. Here's the thing. When we trade futures, a one-to-one on your risk, if you risk 1% and you get a one-to-one, you made 1%, which is basically a 100% return. So what we see here is a 700% return or more, clearly more, 700% return on our risk. Now, options is not doing that on a per move basis. In fact, you're dealing with the Greeks, you're dealing with theta, you're dealing with gamma, you're dealing with everything. Here, it's very, very straightforward. It's a one-to-one. So that's why I like to trade futures. Feels very similar to trading stocks. Now, can you use the system to trade options? Yes, because, the underlying, right? It's like if we're trading Tesla, we're trading the underlying. But what we can do for instance, let's go on over to Tesla. I want to show you something. Let's see. Uh, right here. Let's look at Tesla really quick. So must expand this, by the way. All right. So let's say we're in Tesla, and of course we gave you this trade design, and you could see one of the targets is 325.44 here on this trade design. You could literally buy the contract that's closest to 325.44 and optimize, that contract. You would make really, really good money pursuing this contract in this area here, right? So what a lot of options traders do when they use my system is they see a trade design, they see the price points in that trade design, and then they find the option or corresponding options contract. Okay. Now we don't trade really far out of the money. That's nonsense. Please don't do that. It's just gambling. Okay. So going back to futures, well, this is actually a great teaching moment where, as you can see, we had a entry right here, and it came on down, right, following our GT right there. And then we got a flip here, and it made it 12. It came right back down to entry, but GT still green, so we're still bullish until proven otherwise. Okay, but I'm not going to chase anything. That's why we have a yellow candle print. Now, let me zoom on up. Let's get back to NQ here, because my job, and as much as it's to educate you, my job is to make money and provide for my family. So, sorry, just is what it is. So here we go. We had the trade design down. The dominant trend was to the downside. So seeing this move reject from VWAP, you see right there, this is our red line, should be of no surprise to anyone. To absolutely anyone, should be absolutely no surprise. And this is one of the reasons why I like to wait until 9:45. We get to really see how the market's going to play out, right? So we see that with NQ. If we go to ES, we're going to see very much the same structure. Okay. Um, there you go. Going against VWAP, we had failure here, but most importantly, the dominant bias is to the downside because of our GT500. So, students of the system who learn to trust the system make a lot of money. Now, I have to use the system myself. Well, I do use the system myself, and I do make quite a bit of money doing so. Now, what I have here is there's no confluence here. Well, we have the dominant trend, which is GG500 red here. And then we are below VWAP. So basically our thesis is to the downside, right? We have a super trend here, which we bounced off of, right? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go short because I want to go with the trend. And we're going to see how this looks, okay? Now I'm red. That's fine. Now I'm green. Now, what I'm more focused with, instead of making money just yet, what I'm more focused with is getting an opportunity to set a stop. Now, trading with the trend offers the best opportunities to set a stop. Otherwise, when you're trading against the trend, you're separating from momentum. So it's very, very hard to set a stop, right? That's why it's very, very important to go ahead and trade with momentum, as we see here. Now, looks like I missed my opportunity as I was explaining myself, but that's fine. We're going to see if we can go ahead and make some money here. We were up a pretty decent amount. There you go. 40 ticks, 41 ticks. Guys, I like to use ticks instead of dollar amounts on the chart. That way there is not an emotional impulse. Okay. A little tip of trick there. So we're pretty extremely volatile here. Now I want to show you guys something. We talked about trend lines, and we talked about pretty much this trend being broken, but we still have to wait for the candle close, right? To confirm that that trend is broken, that candle close. There you go. You see what I mean? Right? So this is the importance of candle close. And I really don't care that 4K, whatever. That's honest to God, 4K. Made over $330,000 yesterday. So yeah, I'm a-okay. I'm still trading small enough for the market. So what we see here, you see the trend line. It's we waited for the candle close, and again, it tells us a completely different story on the candle close. This is so important, guys. So important. Now, instead of having a hard line here, instead of having a hard line, what we do is we head on over to our system here. We're going to go to GT Legends rather, and we turn on, for those in the community, look at this. We turn on the STB line and we change all the colors to white. So now we have a hard white line. Okay. So we're going to wait for the chart to populate with that line. There you go. So now what we have is a dynamic trend line that will always hug the candle body. Okay. Always hug the candle body. For instance, we have our entry here from this morning, and it followed the trend line until it didn't, right? Of which maybe you have your stop, you're trailing your stop, or you're setting your target to the 3-to-1. This is a 3-to-1 here. I don't know anyone mad at making a 300% return on their money, right? So that's how we would use this here. Essentially a trend line, but it's dynamic because it follows the candle close. You don't have to worry about it so much. Now, there's a couple of ways of doing this. What we've developed here at 1348 is quite possibly the most reactive trend line here with the STB line. Now, the market's giving me another opportunity to make money. I have an obligation to make money right here. And we have super trend right there. So nice. Are we going to break that? Guys, we're up $4,000. I'm going to take that. Cool. And I'm just going to leave it there. Why? Because this also acts as a level. I'm not trying to be extra here. This also acts as a level. Now, one way you can emulate this type of trend line for yourself without having to join trade1348.com, go ahead. Hey, it's 2 weeks free. Come on. What we do here is, let me turn off all my indicators and show you how it's done. Okay. So pretty much everything's off with the exception to, guys, let me tell you something. Even with all the indicators off, right, where I'm able to articulate the move, when you have our system and you have exposure to GT500 here, you really can't go wrong. And this is on the 5-minute. If we look at the 4-hour, we could see clear as day how effective this is on the 4-hour. Okay. We see we get the swish and entry in a swish, entry swish. Just we're making money. Okay. Anyways, enough of that. It's a system that I use to help me make money. And of course, because we were trending down, I took the position down. I didn't fade the trend here. Okay. But anyways, what we're going to do is with all of our indicators, and with an exception to this here, what we're going to do is we're going to go to indicators, and we're going to type in an EMA indicator, right? So we're going to do a moving average exponential, right? And we've added that to the chart. So what you see here is following very, very closely, right? Let's go ahead, and that is the 9. This is the reason why the 921 is a very popular crossover strategy. I think it's just way too fast. And the 1348 cross actually wins at a higher frequency, right? So less drawdown. Now, a 921, most traders are obsessed with nailing the entry and getting in as soon as possible. That is not what professional traders want to do. First in, first out. It works in some cases, but what you want is confirmation. That is the name of the game for trading, is confirmation. Anyways, jumping in on a trade just because you got to cross because you have the fastest cross in town just really doesn't make any sense, right? That's like saying I have the fastest motorcycle, um, and then you're wrecking. Like, no, we don't need that. But to create this trend line, so what we're going to do is we're going to change the style here, and we're going to make it a little bit thicker, and we're going to make it a little more prominent. Right? So now we have our white line. Now it follows pretty damn well, right? I'm not sure if it follows close enough. So what you could do is you could change the 9 to, let's say, a 5, maybe a 3. So let's go ahead and change it to a 5. And here you go. So now we are hugging price much better. And what we're waiting for is candle close, right? So that's why we have the closer. Basically, guys, this is absolutely free, by the way. I'll include the link down in the description for you to enjoy. This is absolutely free. But you see the closer, right? You want to make sure that the candle is closing, always closing. So what we see here, we got the candle closed, broke down. Now you see this level right there. We drew this level, and that was courtesy of, we're going to start turning everything on now. And I don't need this anymore, right? Because my system does it. So we're going to start turning everything on. And what we now have is, um, right here, 3.5. All right. So I could do something slick here. I could go ahead and do a really small entry and go south with it and then add as I'm winning, right? Or use the other side of this line as my stop. Now, what makes this very dangerous is, once again, the candle close. See, we can get an extension, we can get it closed, it comes right back, the retracement, and then it finally goes, right? What I want to do is attempt to avoid um, emotional wear and tear right through drawdown. So, candle close is the way to go, guys. It will definitely prevent unnecessary emotional damage. Okay. But what it also does is, upon candle close, it gives us an idea, right? So let's say we got a huge extended candle. Now we gotta be mindful here. This is 42. This is 42 points on NQ. This is a typical ATR move for NQ. Typical ATR move, 40 points. That's typical. Okay. So I'm not really intimidated by this candle. You see how right here we have the level on our trade design, which is also a take profit, which is a 5-to-1, but it's also a level. Okay. So I'm going to mark that. Now we got 2 minutes here. There's a couple of ways to play this. I could play the trend, use this as my level now. Or I could play the bounce, but I need confirmation from the candle close. That's all we're doing here, guys. I am not rushing the trade. I mean, we're up $5,000. Not bad. I mean, 15 minutes worth of work, $5,000. Not bad at all. Okay. Can I make more? Hell yeah. So we got a minute of 41. This is going to go ahead and turn yellow when it's 30 seconds. That's when you really start looking at everything. But what I see here is my extension on VWAP. This right here, that extension, that is saying it's a plot score of 3.9. So therefore, we have a deviation, a very, very, very strong deviation to the downside from VWAP, which tells me there's potentially a rebound somewhere. So that's why I am looking at my levels. I'm paying attention to my levels here. All right. Now, for those who are watching me, I know I make this look hella easy. The thing is that, as you guys understand, I'm reacting to what the chart's telling me. I'm not really speculating at all. I'm not saying I think, I'm not saying I know, I'm not, there's no preemptive strike. It's more of like, let's get the candle closed and then tell me what's up, right? So now we got some flickering going on. We had a trade design flicker to the downside. So we're going to wait and see that happen in real time. 32 seconds, 30 seconds, right? What I'm going to do is right here at the bottom of that wick, I'm going to set a sell order, right? I'm gonna size up a little bit. We're gonna make this 4. And I'm going to set a sell order on the other day. That's it. That's pretty much where I wanted it to be. So I'm just gonna go to the market. That's a sell. Now, before contracts in, right here would be my stop. Okay. So now 20, we were up. There you go. See, we're up a good amount of ticks. um, so what I will do, 47, 6, 58, 6. Yeah, we'll take that. We'll take that. Hell yeah, we'll take that. Okay. It's going to keep going. We're up 5,700 on the day. Guys, my thesis, as long as I'm following my bias, my trend, TG500, with a bias of VWAP, using our trend line, using the system at Trade 3048, just following everything and trusting the system where sentiment's down, right? There's a level. We waited for close to see what would happen at the level. Is you now is just trying to march up. So I could do something like play bull side up to this trend line right here. Let's see what happens if we bust through. What happens at or about right here? I'm gonna mark this. We're gonna mark this red so you could see, right? So it's basically right at this trend line. What happens? Now, if there's another rejection, well, I can do this. I can set another sell order on the other side of this level to come back down, right? The trend is down. We're going to see if it rejects from here. Let's see. Look at how see that trend line. It is certainly respecting it. Right? It's trying. It's trying. We need the candle close. We need the candle close. Do not chase it. Do not chase it. Right? We had an extension. Do not chase it. Now, I have an order here in case it comes down, and I'm not chasing the candle, right? Because we're only 3 minutes in. I'm not going to chase the candle. I have an order. Should the candle decide to reverse and come my direction upon that candle close? Okay. Now we got a yellow candle. Does it look like it's going to come up? It sure does. Now what I see here is an 84% roll. So I'm gonna go short here, guys. And I just did a market order because I have to play this. This is basically an 84% roll. Obviously, I'm gonna mind my risk here, right? But basically, price action came right back to a point of origin. Now, yeah, I'm giving some of it back to the market. That's fine. But again, this is also a very huge candle. So I'm going to play this way. This is going to be a short trade. I want it to be short. There's 2 minutes left. The 84% round. Now, if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. This is where my risk is right here. If I get stopped out, guys, I get stopped out on the candle close. Let's see what happens. Right? So still profitable on the day. I had to take that trade because I've seen this sequence before. I just had to. Um, I'm going to let this unfold. I'm going to let it play out. It came up to this region, right? The catapult breaks above this region. I am objectively wrong. Okay. Not really worried about anything, but I'm not bullish until I break above these guys. That's when I'm bullish, right? When I break above these guys. So let's just go ahead and wait. I traded small enough to deal with that drawdown. And no one complaining about being up for $4,000. Yeah, just had to take that trade. Here we go. So, looking like we could get that candle close here. And I would be objectively wrong, right? Now, I have a visual stop, guys. I don't like to set hard stops, right? And I know a lot of you are like, so, but you're losing your ass right now. It's fine. You want some, you lose some. That's the name of the game. The reason why I don't like to do hard stops is because if I set that hard stop here and I get stopped out by a wick and not a candle close, then I'm sort of kind of doing the opposite of how I would enter a trade, right? If I'm entering a trade on candle close, should I not be kicked out of the trade on candle close? Makes sense, right? Otherwise, you're just getting beat up by wicks. That's all that's happening. You're getting beat up by wicks, and then it's death by 1,000 cuts. Okay, so let's go back to this here. What am I? Yeah, not bad. We're good. Okay, new candle print. Let's see what's going to happen here. That's a new candle print. Um, yeah, it's really got to go ahead and really push through right here. So what I'm going to do is close my position here, right? And I'm up 2,800 bucks, and that's fine. For me to take this bullish all the way up to this level, I have to break GT. Okay. Now, what you guys just saw me do was I entered mid candle because I was attempting the 84% rule. I want you to go into Google and look that up. And so basically it says, um, when price comes back to an origin point, or maybe to your stop out, when price comes back to an origin point, there's an 84% probability that the trade will be profitable, right? So I guess I was in that 16th percentile where I actually lost, but I got to shoot the shot, right? I got to take the shot there. Maybe if we come right back down, we'll be good, but we're waiting for the break of this. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to wait for the trade here on the other side of this, right? So we got a trade design. Cool. Now we need the break of GT. There we go. So let's see if I can get the order fill, right? When GT flips, we're very much bullish. I want you guys to understand that, right? So this is basically an ideal scenario for me, of which, then I could like take profit like somewhere up here, right? But it has to break that. So here we go. 10 contracts right there. And guys, what you're also seeing, basically support and resistance lines or trend lines, right? They're rejecting from points of interest, right? Whether it be super trend or rejecting from VWAP or rejecting from GT500. The market's rejecting from something. So we're gonna be a-okay, guys. I'm okay with 2,800 bucks, like whatever. Who wouldn't be? But yeah, if you guys don't want to give money back to the market, don't do, mid candle, right? And or don't chase a candle. That's exactly what I did. I chased a candle, right? Just chasing a theory of the 84% rule. I got my ass handed to me, which now brings me back to something really interesting. So a lot of people like to trade ICT, and ICT is just it's a bible of trading methods, right? Now, my question is, which one is applicable at what time? When are you using a certain strategy at what time and in what scenario, right? That creates friction in the thought process. And so that's why I like the system here, because it's clearly objective every single time. You're trading it the same way every single time, right? This is up, we're green, we go, we break the trend, you close, right? It's down, bearish, we play short, we break the trend and close, bearish here, go short, break the trend and close. And so that's what we're doing here, right? So is it down, down, broke the trend, you close. Now it's pointing up and we need to break that trend. That's all we're doing here, guys. Nothing too crazy. No fancy theory, no fancy jargon, just pure trends. And of course, we're using that trend line there. So, yeah, dynamic trend lines, no hard trend lines. Hard trend lines can often have you set the trend line too sharp, right? Which would prompt you to get out too soon. Okay. Now, I want to talk about this and what's really happening right now, what's helping me build confidence in this trade, of which I will start scaling in once my orders build. One, we have strength here with ChopX, right? This green is showing strength. And now you see that the VWAP G trade we've come up to one, right? So we were deviated all the way down here, right? And come all the way up to one. So I should have, trusted my balance there, right? Hell, I created the system. So, yeah, we had the deviation there. So in order for us to remain bullish here, we want, there you go. Now we got a flip. And I'm just going to keep my order right there. Right. We get a nice right there, right there. Just going to keep my order right there. We get the flip. Um, Guys, really nothing much to do here. So now we're filled. Now we're going to start scaling into these trades. And I'll show you how that's done. Where's my code? There we go. So there's the boring part. This is where patience comes to play. And this is where, I'm like, okay, 38 ticks, 40 ticks, not too bad. 10 contracts, really not bad, right? GT is really trying to flip right here. I have all the signals, including a larger time frame, saying, hey, we're good to go, right? So let's see what happens. So guys, by the way, this here, this green as it's flickering is essentially telling me like, a larger time frame. Let's go to the 1 hour here. Basically, it's saying on the 1 hour that it essentially agrees with the trend. Now, what you see here on the 1 hour is the candle. The candle broke through this trend line. It's still 48 minutes left, right? So it could go anyway at this point. But we have a high up here. So let's see if we can capture the high. There's a lot of structure up here, by the way. So pay attention to that. When you guys see just groupings here, right? There's a high concentration, right? There's interest, very much a lot of interest here at 23,364. Okay. Now let's see. I am I'm down, but not for long. I will start scaling in very, very, very aggressively very soon. But I'm going to show you how you can scale in. There you go. So let's see how we can end the day. We're going to end the day. I know we're going to end the day over $5,000. We were at 5,000. I want to end the day over 5,000. I'm like looking at my piano right there. And so we are up 2,000. So what I'm going to start doing, because we are up 2,000, I'm going to scale into my trade based on my profit, right? So because I'm profitable, I can go ahead and scale in. Let me change this right there. So now we're going to start scaling in, guys. We're profitable. You got to buy your winners. Buy your winners, right? Scale in 15 contracts max. We're buying our winners, right? So we maximize our earnings exponentially. Okay. Now, I repeat, do not pay attention to your dollar amounts when you're trading, right? That's why we have ticks, right? Interesting enough, 40 ticks or 50 contracts is really going to be a lot more than, 40 ticks, 10 contracts, but let's not worry about that. What we're worried about is trading the trade and not getting caught up in a candle. Okay. Guys, psychologically, candles are singularly the worst thing to ever happen to a trader. Candles are just horrible. They're horrible for your psychology. They're horrible for everything. That's why a lot of traders set their trades and walk away because, man, candles are just horrible for your psychology, right? It is a wicks, especially with NQ, especially with NQ. uh, highly volatile, right? With these ginormous wicks, just highly, highly, highly volatile. So here we go. 12 seconds on this candle close. And 10 seconds. I'm excited. Definitely excited for this. So we get a strong close. There you go. Really excited, but there you go. We got to close. All right. So now we got to close on the other side of GT right there. Awesome. That's everything I could ever want. Now I'm going to go and distract myself. Go ahead and look at ES. So ES, obviously, very bullish. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do 5 contracts here. And I'm going to set my, let's say my take profit somewhere here in the middle, right? It doesn't have to be all the way up here. I'm not really looking for all that. And there we go. Guys, we're all good. We're all good. So I suspect that I could end the day somewhere north 7 to 10,000, somewhere in that arena. I know it's hard and it doesn't look that way. It doesn't look that way right now, right? Because it's like, oh no, Gabe, you're red. That was a $5,000 swing. Well, that's mostly because of NQ. That's mostly because of NQ. But I'm following my trend and following my thesis here, and life is good. We're green. Life is good here. Um, nice. 10-6 green. That's probably hardly worth it. Right? Hardly worth it. We'll just leave this alone. Now with NQ, what is NQ doing? Now, oh man, I love this. I love this. All right. I absolutely have to scale into this. So I love this. So 20 contracts of NQ, big whoop. We're going to modify this order and wait. Confirm. And we're gonna go right there. Right. We're not even gonna chase this level. Right. We're oversized. So we have the privilege of, just going halfway and making meaningful money. Right. It's just 20 contracts in. Uh there we go. There we go. 10,000. There we go. That's what we were looking for. 10,000. Let's see. You know, right there. Sweet. Sweet. Now I'm just gonna head on over to, there we go. Now you got that sell limit right there. Sweet. So yeah, that's a swing. Talk about drawdown, right? This is why, like, if you don't have emotional fortitude, just stay away from NQ. Right? We went from of 5,000 to damn near break even to maybe even red to now flirting with 12,000, maybe 15,000 on the day. And then I think I'm just going to wrap up this video um, because what we've done is shown proof of concept with this, right? In following the trade design, which was a signal up, and of course, GT flip with a bias to the upside. And what I'm going to do is I wonder if I should secure this bag and then collect it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna secure this bag right here, and then I'm gonna collect it at the top of the wick. So I'm gonna do a buy stop at the top of the wick there. You see? So we're up a decent amount. We have ES still making me money. That's what's happening, right? So you guys see what happened there with that extension? I didn't like it too much. And so now, you get a little bit of a retracement right there with 35 seconds left. Let's see if I get a fill. There you go. And I'm gonna close out this trade as well. Nice. Okay, we're done there and we're green. There we go. It's so much fun. So much fun. Uh, we'll end this video at 10K, and then I'm gonna go to the gym and go live my best life, guys. Like, that's that's all I'm gonna do. There's really nothing for me to do. Um, there we go. Nice big move. So let me explain why I got out of that trade. So we had an extension, right? And then we saw that that body filled this wick right here. There's a very large wick. That body filled it. And you know, usually when you get fills like that, you see like the wick just gets filled by the body. You know that there's going to be like a little bit of indecision because there's price discovery, right? Like the market participants are saying, well, that was just a wick. Like, is this body validated? Is this body justified, right? And so you will see that price discovery where people are just like unsure. So they start selling, right? And then you have that exchange. And then you have people like myself who are like, hell yeah, let's go ahead and get it cheaper, right? So here we are over 10K. You see the top of that wick there, right? I'm going to pay attention to the top of this wick. That's what I'm looking at. Jeez Louise, this is interesting. Right. Am I up over 10,000? Fuck my life, right? You see what I'm saying, guys? Look it. Here we go. No, I'm done playing with the market. I'm done playing with the market. It's time for me to just go ahead, set my sell order. I'm gonna set it at the top of the wick, right? We got the twin towers right there. I'm just gonna set it right there. Um, and leave it alone. Now I'm just gonna leave it alone. Now, if the market goes ahead, takes off, it takes off without me, that's fine. I get to keep all of my 10K. Right? There we go. Nice. We get the 10K. Now, that's a sell limit. It's going to fill me 11K, 11 and a half. That's not bad, right? Come on, man. Just get up there. Just get up there. Here we go. Here we go. Ah, boring. Boring. You see, it's just messing with me. It doesn't want me to be right. The market's like, fuck you, Gabe. I'm just gonna go ahead and take that profit right there. Was yeah, that leaves me at 10.8. I'm good. Now, if I really see what I mean? If I really, really, really wanted to be an ass, I could have had a buy order on the other side of that. You see, once again, look at we can it's got a little bit cheaper. There you go. A little bit cheaper, a little bit cheaper. I can go right there because it's gotten a little bit cheaper. There you go. Now we're green. Now, guys, I've entered scalping mode, right? And if this starts moving in my favor, oh, let's turn this into 20,000. I think I can do that. As this starts moving in my favor, I can truly start scaling in. I give zero fucks about my green day so far, right? I mean, well, maybe I should care about it, but still. Right? 11 ticks. Um, we're going, baby. We got 14 ticks, right? 12 ticks. This and kid, what do I mean? 12,000? Man, we're gonna hit 20. We're gonna make 20. I want to make 20. Who wants to make 20? Who wants to make 20,000 with me? Right? This is live. This is again trading the system, guys. I'm not flippy floppy from long to short. My thesis is long. So even if that candle retraces, guess what your boy's gonna do? He's gonna buy some more and stay long, right? And so we're gonna start buying at 5 contract increments, right? Okay, now we're gonna build upon this. We're building. There we go, 12. I wanna see 20K. I don't know, just like that, right? I'm gonna go to the gym and be like, "Damn, I made 20K today." That's it, right? Live on YouTube. No one's questioning my trading ability. No one's questioning my system, right? I am confidently entering, making my money. There we go, 15. Right, if we get to 15, then that's fine. Yeah, yeah. So you see how that wick is right there. Oh man, where are we going? Are we going to? Yes, yes. We talked about like structure. Are we going to structure right here? Is that what it is? Right? Are we going up to this level? Maybe we're going up to this level. That I want to be where the people are, right? Well, not really, right? I don't want to hold all the way up to this level because then you could get, whipsawed out, right? And where we at? Man, Hebrew. Be greedy when everyone is fearful. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be greedy. Let's go ahead. There we go. Let's go. Now we're playing with the big boys. We're going to play with the big boys. I'm going to get my 20K. And then I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to put it down. And that's what's up. Here we go. And we're looking at it. I'm looking at my P&L and the monitor on the side. I mean, I could just stare into the camera right there, right? So 17, 18, 18. How do I do it? Guys, I just follow my damn system, right? Okay, so you see how it's coming back to that previous wick? See how it's coming back? All right, so I'm going to close there. And then I'm going to do it all over again, right? So it's going to go ahead and it's going to earn my entry. So we're at 15. I just need 5. Guys, you saw what I just did. I closed it right there, right? Because I saw a retrace right to the kid about it previously. Again, exactly what we talked about before. Okay. It's constant price discovery. But what this is doing is allowing me to get this cheap, super cheap. You see this previous right there? Oh my God. Yes, I could get this super cheap right here. I'm going. Let's go. It's going to go down. I'm going to trail it down. So trailing down. Awesome. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Get it cheap for me. I want it cheap. Sweetie, cheap. I like it. Cheap. I like cheap. You guys like cheap? I like cheap. Right? So, and because, yes, there we go, baby. Nice. I like cheap. Who likes cheap? Right? Gotta buy low, sell high, baby. All right. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. What a morning. I thought this was going to be a boring morning. I guess I made it fun for myself. I need friends. I guess I'm used to talking to the voices in my head, right? Uh, and so, hey, here we go. Huh. It's scaling time. Let's go ahead and buy some more. Nice. We're buying some more. Guys, we're trying to make that 20. Trying to make that 20K, baby. Let's go. That's what we're here for. We're here for big bucks, big bucks. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Stop. Here we go. Come on. 15 contracts in. We're going to get that 20K, right? When you're winning, baby. Here we go. We see 19. Did we see 19? Oh my God, no. All right, come on. So are we going to have that same situation where, this is going to come right back down to the bottom? No, it's not. We're not having the same situation. We're getting to, we're getting to my goal here. That's it. Nice. Come on. $400 more, and we're done. Well, how many, you see, geez, always, how many sixes? Come on. Come on. The suspense. There we go. This thing is just toying with me right now. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing. So we got out there, right? $1,100. We got to do $1,100, guys. Oh my God. Okay, so right here, retraces. It comes back. I could go. It's only $1,100. So what's the safest way of making $1,100? Yes, right. So yes is safer. So let's go ahead. Wait for this light. No, fuck that. I want to be done. Guys, sorry. I'm just going to do this really quickly. Here we go. Make me my money and get me the hell out. I just want to be done. That's it. We'll make the money in 2021. We're good. There we go. All right, there we go. 22. I'm done. All right, guys. That was it. That was my goal. I have things to do now. It's time to go to the gym, pick it up, put it down. I hope you enjoyed this one. Signing out. Peace.